What if I took the NFL and MLB and combined them together for a video? Because, well, that's what's happening. Today, I am making an NFL team based solely on Major League Baseball players. Yes, every single position from quarterback to kicker, we're going to be filling in those spots with players currently in Major League Baseball. We have such amazing athletes: Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, Byron Buxton, Luis Robert, Fernando Tatis Jr., the list goes on and on. I'm going to give you where I think they would belong on a football field, because really, this team would be pretty good if they actually knew how to play football. So I know this is a little bit different. This is kind of like a fun video, something I don't do too often on this channel, but if this is something you like to see, maybe you want to see me build a Major League Baseball team of NFL players, drop a like on the video. 2,500 likes, I'll definitely give you that. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy what you saw here. I normally talk about more actual baseball, but there's nothing to talk about here, so let's get crazy. Let's try something out. And let me know who you think in the comment section down below would be on your team. Who should be your quarterback? What did I get wrong and right? Let me know in the comments down below. Oh yeah, follow me on all my social media, at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links in description. So without further ado, let's get started on the defensive side of the football. It's a battle of the trenches, and defense wins championships. So let's start off with the defensive ends, and first, on the left side, we're gonna go with Avisail Garcia. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but Avisail Garcia is kind of a freak, athletically and just physically. He's 6'4", like 250. He's way bigger than I thought. I actually didn't realize he was this big. When we're talking about size-wise, comparably in the NFL, you're kind of looking at like Nick Bosa, who's like 6'4", 266. So you got Avisail Garcia on the edge. He's strong, he's fast, he's a big dude. I really like him as an end. And then on the other side, we're going with a dude who I think doesn't sometimes get enough credit for being a physical specimen that he is, and that's Joey Gallo. I mean, Joey Gallo's 6'5", 235. Granted, needs to put a little bit of weight on, but that size, plus that speed, plus that strength that Joey Gallo has, I think those two on the edges with Avisail Garcia and Joey Gallo would make a huge mess for opposing offenses. And then defensive tackle-wise, I wanted to go with Pablo Sandoval. He was my original pick, the Kung Fu Panda himself, just because he's such a unit. He's so wide. He could plug up those holes well, but there's a bigger player out there. He's not as much as like a fat guy as just an absolute huge human being, and that's going to be Kenley Jansen. Kenley Jansen's listed at 6'5", 265, and I'm telling you right now, he's even bigger. Through my experiences being in the Dodgers clubhouse in previous years, Kenley Jansen is like 6'7" and probably 280 pounds. He would be a phenomenal defensive tackle, plugging up the middle, stopping the run game. He's also a pretty strong guy, pretty athletic as well. Used to be a catcher, if you guys don't know. Kenley Jansen played catcher in one of the original World Baseball Classics for the Netherlands. This dude's a good athlete. I know he's a pitcher, but as an absolute unit, as an absolute beast, and a strong guy. I love Matt D tackle to give me a line of Avisail Garcia, Joey Gallo, and Kenley Jansen. Oh, we're looking at a pretty dominant team right now on the defensive line. Now we move over to the linebackers. And the linebackers, it's a little more interesting, a little more up in the air. For the outside linebackers, left outside, I'm gonna go with Jorge Solaire. Again, another one of these just physical specimens, the size that Jorge Solaire has. He's got muscles on muscles. We've seen him hit baseballs 500 feet before. We know he's strong. And athletically, he's pretty athletic. I like him as an edge guy. At 6'4", 235, I mean, that is a pretty scary left outside linebacker. He's a little bit taller than you sometimes see of these outside linebackers, but he's definitely got the size, he's got the speed, he's got it all. I like Jorge Solaire. And then on the other side, I'm going for a little more athleticism, not as much sheer size like a Jorge Solaire, but I'm gonna go with Juan Soto. I think Juan Soto would be a really good outside linebacker. First off, he's got cockiness. I want guys who could be getting sacks for me to be a little bit cocky. And Juan Soto, we know about the Soto shuffle. He's got all the confidence in the world. He seems like he honestly would probably be a pretty good football player. I know we don't think of Juan Soto as one of the biggest guys, but Juan Soto's 6'2", 225. That's a pretty substantial size for an outside linebacker. I think he'd be pretty good out there. Soto and Solaire on the outsides. Now in the middle linebackers. This is where it gets really interesting, because we actually have a guy in Kyle Schwarber who was like an all-state middle linebacker in high school. So Kyle Schwarber is definitely going to be one of them. And I know we think of Kyle Schwarber as like one of these bigger dudes in Major League Baseball, softball, first baseman kind of thing, beer league guy. But Kyle Schwarber was a stud middle linebacker in high school. I'm going to put him in the middle linebacker for my football team right now if I'm making of Major League Baseball players. While he may not have the speed or agility that he once had, I just love the idea that we do have like this football guy here playing middle linebacker. He's got the experience, he's got the skill. We'll worry about the athleticism later. And then for my second middle linebacker, I mean, I don't think I could have found a perfect guy than Tyler O'Neill. Tyler O'Neill, short, stocky, fast, strong. He does literally everything. He's a 5-tool baseball player, and he would be, I don't know however many tools there are in the NFL, but he would be a complete package as a middle linebacker. Like Tyler O'Neill, 5'11", 200. I know he probably needs to put on a little weight, but I'm feeling like the Lofa Tatupu days where we had a little shorter middle linebacker, but he was a great athlete, can do it all. Tyler O'Neill, my second middle linebacker. Let's move on to the secondary now. And for the secondary, first cornerback, number 1, Mookie Betts. You want to talk about one of the most talented all-around players in baseball, along with the fact that he's not too particularly big where it makes it weird for a cornerback. He tracks the ball well, great athlete. I love the idea of Mookie Betts covering some wide receivers in the NFL. Now, of course, the size thing, it's not the best, but I feel like from everyone I've talked to, when I say who would be a great cornerback in the NFL, Mookie Betts is the first name that comes up. Athletic, I'm thinking like, I don't know if you guys remember Cortland Finnegan Finnegan, but that's what I see Mookie Betts being like, a little Cortland Finnegan out there. And then for my second cornerback, I'm sticking with another athletic outfield type player, and I'm gonna go with Ronald Acuna. Now I know he just had the ACL tear, so we gotta be a little worried about him playing corner, but with Ronald Acuna, while he might not be the best defensive cornerback, I do think that the size and speed and athleticism, he's gonna be able to lay some guys out. I like the idea of him maybe being a cornerback that we send in for some blitzes, a more physical corner, maybe like a Richard Sherman type. I like Ronald Acuna as a corner with Mookie Betts. Those guys in the secondary, along with who you're gonna see at safeties, yeah, these are gonna be some absolute beasts out there. Strong safety. You think of strong players in Major League Baseball, Starling Marte is a guy that comes to mind to me, and he's gonna be my strong safety. Bulky, strong, knowledge, experience, great outfielder as well, so he can track down balls. And if I'm thinking about dudes laying out guys, Starling Marte, I mean, look at him. Look at this man. He's jacked and he's older, but I feel like Starling Marte would be a great strong safety alongside the guy who I think at free safety, honestly, could be a Pro Bowler in the NFL right now if he learned how to play free safety. That's Luis Robert. I mean, Lou Bob. Think about this guy getting a 20-yard start to lay out a guy. Full speed, lower in the shoulder, hit stick kind of stuff. Luis Robert at free safety? Dangerous type stuff. Like Luis Robert has some size at free safety that we really haven't seen, along with the athleticism. May not have the weight necessarily as like some of the bigger guys, but Luis Robert standing at 6'2", 220, that is an intimidating free safety, not to mention that he just tracks balls so well. He has the ability to roam out there. Dude's gonna be making picks, be making big hits, scoring touchdowns defensively. Luis Robert is just one of the best athletes in baseball, and I think at free safety it would be a perfect fit. And then before we touch the offensive side, kicker, punter, Sergio Romo, is he still around? There's a video of him kicking, so sure, Sergio Romo. If not, we're calling Paul O'Neill out of retirement. I don't care how old he is. Kick the ball into the infield. Has done it before. Paul O'Neill, you're kicking and punting. You'll be fine in the NFL. No one's touching it. And then kick return, punt return, I think we just go with a guy that's just straight up speed, and that's going to be Tim LeCastro. Foolish baseball's king. Tim LeCastro, the fastest man in baseball. Give him some yards to run with. I don't know how well he can catch. I don't know how well he can evade. I don't know if he's got the jukes. I don't know if he's got the strength, but just straight up Tyreek Hill speed, Devin Hester speed. Let Tim LeCastro run, and I think that he could be a great kick return, punt return guy. Now for the offensive side, let's get started off with the meat and potatoes, the oatmeal. Let's talk about the offensive line. Starting off at left tackle, I think this guy actually is a really good fit there. It's going to be Salvador Perez. Now hear me out. I know you're saying like, Salvi Perez, it's your left tackle. Are you sure? I know Salvador Perez isn't the once great defensive catcher that he once was, but he's still a pretty good athlete back there, and he's got some size. 6'3", 225. He's one of the bigger guys. He's a catcher, so you know he's squatty. He's got good legs, good strong base, and I like the idea of Salvador Perez, you know, keeping those edge rushers out. Salvi at left tackle, I feel safe with him there. I like him as my left tackle. He's not like 6'7", like you might have seen with some guys before. Trent Williams. I don't know. I can't think of some great left tackles in football history. My knowledge just isn't that deep. But Salvi at left tackle, I like it. At right tackle on the other side, this is a big country boy here. If you had to guess, I feel like this name would come up pretty quickly. It's gonna be Lance Lynn. I mean, Lance Lynn is a friggin' mountain. And I put him on right tackle because, you know, left tackle, we want more of an athlete. Right tackle, give me the size. Lance Lynn is 6'5", 270. That is like almost right tackle size in the NFL. He pitches right now. He's a country boy. I feel like I can see him, you know, throwing hay bales around. That's the kind of guy I want at right tackle protecting my quarterback. Lance Lynn, nobody's moving him. Who's moving that guy? Nobody, not me. Granted, I don't play in the NFL, but the edge rushers in the NFL, you're not moving Lance Lynn. So low center of gravity, strong guy, lots of girth. Lance Lynn, nice right tackle. Now, as for my guards, left guard, I'm gonna go with Dan Vogelbach, a short, stocky guy, again, hard to move. You look at Dan Vogelbach and you're like, man, I feel like if I hit him with a car, he wouldn't go anywhere. Athleticism, probably not the highest. You wouldn't, you know, associate Dan Vogelbach with athleticism, but for that guard position, a guy who, you know, I feel like is out there every day grinding, Dan Vogelbach feels like a great fit. And then on the right guard, another dude who's a little short and stocky. How about G-Man Choi? We know he's a little agile. He's got the dance moves. We've seen him before. He's a good player. He's versatile. The Rays got him, so clearly there's something there. Like a Rays player, G-Man Choi, he's smart. Let me put him at right guard. I think they'd be able to protect the quarterback as well as give us a strong up the middle run game. And then at center, I feel like it could have been Williams Astudillo, but I found a better guy, Alejandro Kirk. I mean, take Williams Astudillo, make him better. Who is it? It's Alejandro Kirk. I feel like he'd be perfect as center. Short, stocky, catcher position, which feels like always just like a match made in heaven for these guys who are going to be on the offensive line. Alejandro Kirk to me would be a great center. Maybe a little small in the height size, but he's got the girth again, and he's going to be a great snapper. He's never going to throw it over the guy's head like they did with Matt Stafford in the Rams-Bucks game. Alejandro Kirk's legit at center. Now let's get to the fun position. Talking about skill positions. Wide receivers, we're going with 3. I know you technically aren't going to throw like 3 wide receivers out every time, but I want to have 3 guys out there. Fernando Tatis is going to be my first guy. He's going to be a deep threat. He's going to be awesome on the outside. You're talking about athletes in baseball. He's among the top of the top. Of course, he's got the shoulder injury to worry about, but he's played a little outfield. Didn't look too bad out there. Great at shortstop, and the big thing with him is throwing. Otherwise, his athleticism is unmatched. He'll get to anything. He'll make diving catches. He's unbelievably fast. He's one of the best athletes in the game. Imagine a deep ball to Fernando Tatis going across the middle. Not to mention this guy's big. He's strong. He would would be a great wide receiver right now, I think, if you put him in the NFL. And then for my other deep threat, which like, this guy is a wide receiver scary. Of course, if he's healthy, Byron Buxton. Talk about a guy who tracks baseballs unbelievably well. One of the best defensive center fielders in baseball. He's got the speed. He's built like a friggin' ox. He's a 5-tool player. Yeah, I could have gone with Kevin Kiermaier, who was probably better at tracking balls. But Byron Buxton, the speed, everything put together, the athleticism, we've seen the diving catches he makes. My one concern would be his health, but otherwise, Byron Buxton at wide receiver on the outside with Fernando Tatis Jr., you're just simply not stopping these guys. And then for my slot receiver, I could have gone Harrison Bader. That was a real thought, but I went with Trey Turner instead, because here's why. Trey Turner's faster, he's bigger, he's stronger, he kind of just does everything better, and he's played the outfield before, so you know he can catch. And Trey Turner is just simply one of the best, most underrated players and athletes in all of baseball. Like Trey Turner, come on, tell me you couldn't imagine Trey Turner being a part of those great New England Patriots teams and Tom Brady hitting him across the middle on a slant route. I know he's 6'2", 185, a little bit bigger than the typical slot guys, but I think you use that to an advantage. Bill Belichick would have a field day with Trey Turner. The grit coming out of this guy is unmatched. Trey Turner would be a elite slot receiver, and that's who I'm putting on my team. Now, in terms of tight ends, I got two guys from the same team, and I feel like they're perfect fits for tight ends. Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. Now, I know Giancarlo's not playing the field. He's been a DH, but in high school, Giancarlo was apparently a pretty good wide receiver. He's a little bit bigger now, a little bit slower. I'd like to see how he blocks. I'm sure he can block pretty well too, based on his size. Giancarlo is just an absolute beast of a human being. Hits the ball so hard. I mean, we're kind of going, I'm kind of copying the Patriots system here a little bit, but Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez, granted, we don't want Aaron Hernandez part 2, but on the field, those two together were disgusting. And I think with Judge and Giancarlo, get a little bit of edge, you get a little athleticism, you get size, you get the ability to block. I love it. And especially with Aaron Judge, like great in the field, super strong, one of the bigger players in Major League Baseball, incredible at just crushing balls, just like Giancarlo Stanton. These two guys as my tight ends in 2 tight end sets, just like the Patriots back in the day. Oh, you're not beating this team. You are not building a better MLB team in the NFL than I have right now. And it's going to get better here because we still have the quarterback and the running back. I held it out to the end, holding out the QB for the last one. At running back, I feel like you guys probably know who it's going to be. It's the best player in baseball. It's Mike Trout. I mean, when you look at this dude, he's actually built like just not a human. He's built like a running back. He's literally built like Bo Jackson. Mike Trout is 6'2", 235. Bo Jackson was 6'1", 227. Derrick Henry, 6'3", 247. That's right in between both of those dudes. Bo Jackson and Derrick Henry, some of the hardest runners in the NFL, especially Bo Jackson. I mean, you say that name and you compare him to Mike Trout and it makes sense. That one feels like a perfect comparison. That's why I want Mike Trout there. Of course, injuries, we always have to be worried, but it's the running back position. We don't need too much out of Mike Trout. Give me 3 or 4 years of being a great running back, which I think he could. The speed, the power, I'm sure he's elusive. He's the best player we've probably ever seen in Major League Baseball. Why couldn't he be a great running back? You're telling me Mike Trout couldn't hit you with a spin move, couldn't hit you with a juke, a stiff arm from Mike Trout? You're stopping a stiff arm from Mike Trout? It's not happening. So Mike Trout's my running back, and then at quarterback, a lot of great options, and I was down to 2. Jacob deGrom versus Shohei Ohtani. Jacob deGrom, great athlete. Faster than you'd imagine. Cannon of an arm. Throws 102 miles an hour. One of the best arms in Major League Baseball. But does he have the strength? Is that what I really want? Is a fast and good arm. Feels like it could be boom or bust potential there. Then you got Shohei Ohtani. And Shohei Ohtani is built like a Greek god. He's absolutely ripped. We know he's incredibly strong. We know he's incredibly fast. And while he hasn't played the outfield, he has a good arm. He throws 99, 100 miles an hour on the mound. So for me, I went with Shohei Ohtani because it just feels like to me, Shohei could be a Josh Allen type quarterback in the NFL. He could run a little bit. He could truck a little bit. He could throw the deep ball. He's going to be a little risky too. He's going to take some shots down the field. He might have a couple turnovers here and there, but who's tackling Shohei Ohtani when he's running down the field? A QB sneak? You're not stopping Shohei Ohtani. He's going to get 2 or 3 yards every single time he runs it. He's strong, so we don't have to really worry about the injuries with him, just like with Josh Allen, and he's got a cannon of an arm. I love Shohei Ohtani to be the quarterback of my baseball NFL team with Trout at running back, Tatis, Trey Turner, and Byron Buxton at the wide receiver positions. Tight ends, we go with Judge and Stanton. Linemen, Salvi, Vogelbach, Alejandro Kirk, G-Man Choi, and Lance Lynn. I mean, they're protecting the hell out of Shohei Ohtani, better than the Angels have, that's for sure. And then defensively, I mean, we got Louis Bob playing free safety, Gallo, Avisail Garcia, Kenley Jansen on the line, linebackers, Soto, Solaire, Tyler O'Neill, Kyle Schwarber, Mookie Betts Acuna, Starling Marte. Tell me, can you build a better team than I just did of MLB players in the NFL? I'd love to know what you guys are thinking down in the comment section below. If you did enjoy this, I know it's different. I'm trying different ideas here, combining it with football, maybe it'll hit. If you did enjoy it, 2,500 likes, and I'll make a MLB team of NFL players. Follow me on all my social media at GiraffeNeckMarc, links in the description. That's where I'm wrapping up today's video. You guys know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload. Click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another video. Bye.